Yeah, so thanks all for being here, and thank you
Sure.
for taking part in this.
Thank you.
So here we're going to have a bit of a chat about Roblox, and we've got a developer that works on the platform here, Joshua. And you've made a number of games on the platform. They include Disney's The Big Friendly Giants, The Great Yoke Tales,
Yoke Tales, yeah.
which is also part of a Roblox sponsorship of Ready Player One. And you've interned with Roblox, and you're currently studying computer science at the University of Hertfordshire.
That's correct.
I think I've covered. Is that
yeah?
Good
that's
intro?
a good introduction. Thank you.
So Roblox, I'm sure you'll know the game is estimated to have made $500 million on mobile alone as of October 2018. It's also available on other platforms. It's said to have 70 million monthly active users. Continues to move up the grossing charts. And it raised, the company raised $150 million in September. Yet, it's becoming a bit more well-known now, but it still kind of flew under the radar. So for such like the biggest game, for those that might not know, could you describe a bit about what Roblox is and how users can create stuff in the game?
Yeah, sure. So Roblox is a platform where players can play and make games. There's millions of games that people have made. All the games are made by the users, and the vast majority of those 70 million monthly active users are just playing games on Roblox. That's across mobile, Xbox, and PC, and Mac. And the developer can use the Roblox Studio, which Roblox provides to create these experiences. That uses the 3D modeling, which Roblox provides for you in Studio. They allow you to script your own games with Lua, which is based on C, to go technical. And then on Roblox, there's a currency called Robux. Players can purchase Robux, and then developers can sell items in their game. So you can get a bigger sword or a fast horse or something, and you just pay Robux to the developer. And then developers can cash out that Robux via the developer exchange for dollars.
So you were mentioning about some coding languages there. How accessible are these tools? I mean, ultimately it's a kid's game as well. So
the language that Roblox uses, Lua, is quite easy to learn. They also provide a lot of resources for you to learn them on the developer hub. All the documentation, all the APIs there. There are many YouTube tutorials which people have made. So there's many ways to learn how to make games, especially there's a very large library of, I think, also millions of assets and scripts and user interfaces that other people have made, which have been uploaded, which you can use for free. And that's how I started, just trying to figure out how to use different things. Oh, I want to add this to my game. Let me see what this person made. How did they make it? Oh, okay, that's how I do this. And just going forward from there.
So you explained a bit how you started getting involved with making stuff in the game, but how did you start actually making games and then earning money from the platform?
Well, at first I was just playing Roblox with friends, and then I found out you could make games. And around that time, Roblox released the Developer Exchange program, which is now what drives a lot of the game development. And I thought, okay, let me give this a try. I like playing Roblox games. These games are cool. Let me make some of them. And so I probably spent about a year or two just playing around many projects, which I worked for a week on and then left when I got a new idea. And everyone was just slightly better than the next one. And then I got an idea for a game, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this whole game. And so I spent a couple of months making it, got a few thousand people in total played it. And I was like, oh man, I made some really bad mistakes. I wanted to give players a house, but the only place to put the house was at the top of this area where they had to play hours to unlock. So I made the whole game again, really using all these things that I'd learned and all the techniques that I'd learned, and just trying to design it a lot better from the start, rather than just doing everything step by step. And then I published that, and I ran some ads on the Roblox advertising system. And shortly after this, it got featured by Roblox as well. So you could apply to the featured program. And then that's when it started gaining traction. And I made some money from that. And following that, I applied for an event partnership with Roblox. So that was the Big Friendly Giant event you mentioned. So that was for Roblox themselves in conjunction with the Big Friendly Giant. And following that, I just started making more games, using what I'd learned in the previous games, trying to improve on that, trying techniques which worked in other games, other popular games, like if there were a trend of games on Roblox in a certain style, I'd be like, how can I make this style better? How can I make it more fun? And it just went on from there.
You mentioned the Roblox advertising system.
Yes.
So I'm actually a bit unaware of that. So you can do in-app purchases in Roblox,
yes,
but you can also do ads. Can you explain a bit of how that works?
Sure. So everything on Roblox pretty much runs off Robux, which is the Roblox currency. You can sell stuff in your game for Robux, and then Roblox has this advertising system. It's the advertising system, and you pay Robux in a bid system. So someone who pays 100,000 Robux will have their ad shown 10 times as much as someone pays 10,000 Robux. So I've done it at times where I drop a whole lot of Robux on the ad system so I can get my ads shown a lot more than anyone else. And there's other times where I'll just do a small amount every day just to get a trickle of players coming in. And it's really great because you can go onto Roblox, make a game for free, publish it, get a few people playing, maybe one or two of them buys things, and then you can use that money on the ad system and get more players in. And after a month or two of repeating this, you've got a bunch of players playing and you haven't spent any money.
Do you consider this as like a hobby, or do you consider this as a serious business? And is it something you're going to continue to do after your studies?
Yeah, so at first it was just a hobby. Hey, this can be fun. And then I think when I got that first event, kind of around that time, I sort of like, okay, this can actually become something I do properly now. And then I got the 2 internships, and I did another event with the Great Joke Tales. And now I'm working on another game, and I'm really like focusing on monetization in this as well, because previous games were like my first game was, hey, let's make a fun game, and then I kind of wedged in monetization at the end. But now I've got a plan to make a game. I'm working on it, adding things like starter packs, like proper retention strategies, working on analytics, so I can actually make a properly functioning game. And so I'm doing this part-time because I'm at university as well. But by the time I'm finished with university, I plan to have at least 1 or 2 games which are relatively popular, and then hire developers to work on those games and pretty much have the games pay for themselves while they're still improved with players online, so I can go on and focus on new games.
So you're not seeing it necessarily as a stepping stone to make games with like a Unity engine to release on mobile. You see it as a platform to make a serious business.
At the moment, I don't really see a reason why I would want to go to, say, Unity or something. Roblox provides everything you need for game development: servers, hosting, databases. If I've got 1 player online now and in an hour 50,000 online, the servers automatically scale. I don't have to worry about any of that. I can purely focus on making the game, and there's the players there ready to play the games. So, yeah, and the amount of money you can earn on Roblox at the moment isn't a limiting factor for my game development.
Do you work with other developers? Then what's it like putting a team together? Are you always looking for people within the Roblox ecosystem already? And also, like, is there a problem with age of the people you find?
Yeah, so interesting thing with Roblox is almost all the developers on Roblox work with other Roblox developers who they found through like the developer forums on Roblox. Myself, I've made about 3 games now where I was the lead developer, and then I just got someone in to make 3D models and assets because I'm primarily a programmer. Then the Big Friendly Giant event, I was the lead developer on that, and then I got 2 people to subcontract to make the maps and the terrain and the environments, and a 3D artist. And then for the Great Joke Tales event, we actually applied as a team. So there were about 6 scripters, 7 3D artists, 2 UI artists, and a composer. And we applied for this as a team. And then my latest game, which I worked on over the summer at Roblox in their intern program, was actually myself and 2 friends who applied. And the 3 of us went there. So there's generally like people you find on Roblox. Mm-hmm. It's rare that you'll find someone working with somebody who's like not familiar with the Roblox ecosystem.
It sounds like in some cases the teams can be quite big, actually, not just a couple of people doing it.
Yeah, so generally the average team size is about maybe 4 to 5. This was one of the larger teams on Roblox, but this was for a specific event. So we worked for about 6 months and released the event. But generally, there's about 4 or 5, and although there are companies starting on Roblox, purely Roblox development, they have about 7 or 8 people working in-house in an office at the same location. Yeah.
Kind of talking about some design aspects, is there anything you can tell us about what do players actually find fun on the platform? And are you able to use like any data to find out what players like, or do you just use your instincts for development?
It's a difficult question. I've been trying to figure this out myself. But generally, I try and find something which is kind of a mix of 2 things. One, I need to find it fun, because that's a really good starting point. If I'm working on it, if I find it fun, I'm going to start having good ideas for it, compared to something which I just try to think of, okay, I think this will be fun, let me do this. Something which I think, oh, I would play that. And then also looking at what other games are on the platform. Like Roblox players really like social games, role-playing games, things where they can interact with other players. And what I have especially been doing more recently is getting feedback early on. So I'll have a game idea, build a very small prototype, or even before that, I'll talk to some friends. What do you think about this idea? Right. And then once I've got a prototype, I'll tell a few players that play my other games, like, hey, I've got a new game, come check it out, and they'll give me feedback. And that's really helped to like keep the game fun as you go along, rather than just focusing on trying to build a game purely by structure.
Do they give you any access to any kind of analytics so you can judge how players are playing a particular game?
They give you, Roblox has very basic analytics. That's like average play time, users per day, Robux per user, stuff like that. But you can...
Is that within your game specifically?
Yes,
right.
yes. But you can use, I use something called Game Analytics. It's a website. You can use HTTP server. Roblox allows you to send requests to websites. So I track a whole magnitude of things like player retention, daily retention, all the analytics stuff. They allow you to do it on your own if you want to. So I just connect with a website which allows that function. So yeah.
I'm sure everyone is well versed in data on mobile here. How do you think about things like monetization? And are there strict rules you have to follow?
So generally, no gambling. But
is that a broad definition, or is that
yeah, so you can't, I'm not exactly sure on the terminology, but you can't do gambling where it's specifically related to money. Right. So it has to be like just in-game tokens, like, oh, well done, you won these 5 tokens for winning a round, but you can't buy the tokens. It's something like that. I'm not too sure on it. And in general, it's not really a rule, but players don't like games where you can pay to win. So if I have the biggest gun just because I bought it, right, players don't like that, and they'll like avoid the game just because of that. But if everybody can earn the gun, and if I want to buy it now, I can, and not earn it, players don't really mind. Because even if they don't have Robux or they don't want to spend their Robux on that gun, they can still earn it. And cosmetics, as like any game, really, cosmetics work really
What do
well.
you do usually specifically?
Pretty much all my games have some form of cosmetics. Whether it's anything from skins to like different items which don't really necessarily do anything different. They just look different or have particles coming out of them, or they glow. Or we offer simple power-ups, like in the Egg Hunt event game, we allowed players to place cannons around the map so they could get up to higher areas, but then they could share that with their friends as well. So you place a cannon and then for 5 minutes it sits there and anybody can use it. So that's more of like a cooperative, something which you can buy. So,
is like the notion of live ops, games as a service, a thing with Roblox? Do you just release a game and then it's out there, or do you like update that specific game? Are you running events in that game, or?
It really varies. Like for me, my first 2 or 3 games which I made, I published them, I updated them for a while, and then I started a new project. So I left them in a good state where they work, but I haven't updated them for a while. But generally, most games will follow that cycle. The really popular ones, they get like every 2 weeks they'll have new content. Right. Every month, maybe, or 2 months, there'll be an event. Like they'll make the whole map snow for winter, or for Easter they'll have a special event. So it definitely depends on the popularity of the games. Like top games that have been on Roblox on the top front pages for a while, you'll see them doing updates every 2-3 months at least. and they've been there for like a year or two, just from the constant updates to get players back in. But yeah, there's definitely a feel of publish the game and then keep updating it, else players will just go elsewhere.
We're talking about ads a bit earlier. Are you able to cross-promote your games within your own games?
Yes, so you can give a link like in the description. I've done this in one of my games, and recently when one of them was featured, I saw an increase in plays in the other game as well, because they saw, hey, I made this new game, do you want to check it out? You can also, because everything is scriptable, you can teleport players to different places, or games rather. So I could say, hey, I've got this new game, would you like to check it out? And then send players to my new game if they want to. Or I could even offer incentives. So earn this badge from my other game and it will give you free cash in this game, and vice versa. So there's definitely the possibility and the opportunity to get your players playing in your whole universe of games, should I say, all your games, rather than just focusing on one of them.
Does Roblox really offer the opportunity for creators to make a success of themselves, and also perhaps outside of its own platform? Is it easy to get sucked into that tool set and learning that language? But should developers perhaps be looking at other things, other languages?
Yeah, so Roblox is a very good starting point, and especially now, it's definitely viable to continue. But especially like for myself, just the stuff I've learned in Roblox has helped me, not specifically in game development, but at university. Right. Even though I've only learned Lua, learning stuff at university like Python and Java, it was way easier to learn that. It was almost like the same language, but just some words were different kind of thing. And to go into different games or different platforms, someone who made 2 popular games in Roblox back in 2012, he stopped developing on Roblox and went to make a game in Unity, and that's now I think the 3rd most popular game on Steam. So
what game?
Unturned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he started on Roblox, decided...
It's like a Minecraft bit like game.
It's like a survival zombie apocalypse game. Yeah, so he started on Roblox and decided, okay, well, I want to go try Unity, and now he's doing really well. I think it's got at the moment 20,000 concurrent. And yeah, he started on Roblox. So there's definitely a way, it teaches you about game development. Yeah.
Cool, so I was going to open it up to the audience. If you've got any questions, that's all. Oh, we have one from Ollie, and then we got another question. Have I taken the only mic is the real question.
It's really interesting hearing your story, your experiences. I guess I have a few questions, but one of them comes to mind is, of the tools and tech that are available to you now, what would you most like to be able to do that you can't do currently?
In Roblox?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Roblox is known for its kind of blocky, not really realistic graphics. So that would be, they're definitely improving that. They've got new lighting systems coming out, etc. That would be a nice thing to have. But at the same time, I understand why it's okay without it, because young kids often don't really mind. They just want to play a fun game. And it runs on everything. I can play my game on my iPhone 5, my beefy PC, or an Xbox. And there's no lag issue. But yeah, maybe better graphics would be cool to have.
So is it more realistic?
Yeah, more realistic, maybe. So basically, yeah, more realistic movements with characters. Yeah.
Okay. I think we had a question here.
Sure. Yeah. So mine's kind of in the same vein, but of the last one. But when you look at traditional retention or re-engagement techniques in mobile that would include things like push, which I'm assuming you don't have access to a push notification direct to to buzz the cell, right? Like you can't say, hey, come back and collect your coins.
Players can follow the game, and we can push updates to that. As far as I'm aware, that will send a push notification as well.
At least as I understand, it's within the framework. You'd have to log into Roblox and then check your notifications within that versus buzzing the phone.
I think it sends you a push notification. Oh, okay. If you subscribe to the game and that game is updated, you'll get a push. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe another piece of that is, and maybe I'll frame it as a question, are you able to advertise for acquisition on, say, Facebook or other traditional channels, or does it all have to go through their platform?
No, you can advertise wherever you want, just provide a link to your game.
Okay.
There'll be a play button, it'll automatically download the player, and you can play your game.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that answers the question.
Have we got time for one more?
One more, we'll take this just no one.
Sorry,
sorry.
you put your hand out. I apologise.
We
Of
can
course.
If we
Anyway.
like, we can do both.
Yeah,
Okay,
if
cool.
you ask.
You mentioned there's a currency exchange. Does that vary from day to day? So say, is it best holding on to them so that rates go up, and can you see what the past rates were and stuff?
As far as I'm aware, the purchase rate for players to buy Robux has never changed.
But the exchange rate back?
The exchange rate back there's no fluctuation in currency.
Oh, is it not?
Occasionally, Roblox will raise the amount they pay you. Originally, it was 100,000 Robux for $100. Now it's 100,000 Robux for $300, going up to 300 million for $1 million per month. But yeah, there's no like.
What's the earning that kind of money?
I know people who do. I aspire. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, sorry, one last question.
Yeah, it's just a clarification on the Developer Toolkit.
Yeah.
Is there version control on this? 'Cause I wasn't aware that there was, but I know there's a third-party thing that you can get.
Yeah, so you can do plugins into Studio which will version control your scripts specifically. There's version control in the games, so you can have autosaves to every 5 minutes. So I can go into one of my games and choose like one of the 1,300 versions so far and go back to any one of them. I can download that if I want to. So you can go back to pretty much any stage of your game and use it from there or whatever you want to do with it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I didn't think there was, to be fair.
Yeah, so, but yeah, ask me questions afterwards if there's any more. So.
Okay, thanks very much
Cool.
for that round of applause.